The time has come for us to make a choice again. Our choice is the God sent man, GSM. One more time. The time has come.
Well, again, during the electioneering in 2019, I remember, I think it must have been around Afijio. We met some school children. They were going home. So I stopped. We were on the campaign trail. And I asked them, why were you guys not in school? And they said they just sent them out of the school because they hadn't paid the 3,000 naira that they were collecting from them, yearly. And the data, outside then was that in this entire Southwest, Oyo State had the most out-of-school children. So we made up our mind that the first thing we'll do, and I did that on my first day in office, we scrapped the 3,000 naira levy. And between then and now, we have been able to return close to 54,000 out-of-school children back to school. So that was major for us. And also we noticed that the infrastructure, were practically non-existent. UBEC intervention, Oyo State was lagging behind at that time. So we decided first ensure that we pay our UBEC funds timely, and we were able to access all the matching funds, from, I believe, 2018. We met 2018 when we came in. And what that has done is, at least we've renovated, we've completed about 56 model schools, and we've constructed close to 700 classrooms, all across the state. So gradually, we are tackling the infrastructural deficit within this sector. Also, we employ teachers, about 5,000 of them, 5,000 teachers were employed. Also, education officers. Those were gaps that we noticed before we came in. At the tertiary school level, it was a campaign issue. LAUTECH students were, for a 4-year program, majority of them, they were in school for double that time, some 7, some 8 years. And we noticed that the major issue then was the joint ownership of LAUTECH between Oyo and Osun State. So we made it a campaign issue, and we said when we come in, we will be pushing, to have a sole ownership of LAUTECH. And by God's grace, we achieved that. And now LAUTECH itself is now a multi-campus institution. Work is ongoing on the Seyi campus of LAUTECH. So I think we've been able to achieve stability in that sector. Now, what we need to do is, how do we sustain it, and how do we ensure that we don't go back to the era of not providing adequate funding for our education sector. At least since we came in, consistently we have ensured that the budgetary allocation for that sector is in hovering around 18, 17, 18, 19%. And that puts us where we really want to be. UNESCO recommendation is that between 15 and 20% of the budgetary allocation must go into education, and we have been consistent with that. Well, first, WAEC does not actually go out and do some those rankings that you're claiming that Oyo State is dropped to number 33. Okay, maybe, I don't know. Perhaps if you use certain parameter, you may get to that point. But for us, what we've been able to do is to compare what we've seen between, let's say, 2016 to 2018 in terms of how many of our students were able to get 5 credits, including English and maths, at one sitting. Because to guarantee, the kind of outcome that we're looking for, we had intervention classes, for students to take WAEC. We also give them compendium, free of charge, to ensure that they are able to practice past question papers. And when you look at between 2016 and 2018, the number of Oyo State students from public schools, that passed WAEC, 5 credits, including English and maths in one sitting, then it was about 35, 33, 35%. But for us, the students that were presented between 2019 and 2021, we moved that up to 65%. So that's an outcome that we will love to see, and that's what we're seeing. Well, when people are used to doing things in a certain way, it's always very difficult for them to change. The 3,000 naira they were collecting from the students, there's no accountability as far as the utilization is concerned. Those monies were collected in schools and they were spent out there also. So some of the principals and the teachers, they thought that money, because they were never accountable to anybody. It was just between the school authorities and the school governing board, then. So we tried to look into the utilization. We met, it was the dead hand that we got to. So, and I said, okay, the first term, I'll release money based on the number of students, they claim were in the school. In fact, I asked them what was the compliance level with that levy. Nobody was able to tell me. So I knew we were going to be faced with blackmails and all of that, but we were determined, to ensure that we run through with that program. So we released the money based on the data, we met when we came in. And the second time they were waiting for the same thing, and I said, no. This is not free money anymore. This is from government purse. So you have to account for it. So they couldn't. It took us almost the remainder part of that school year. So we now had to start looking for data and then releasing money to them when we feel that it has become really necessary. Yes, is that the most efficient way? Maybe we can do better. But in terms of getting the data and knowing the exact amount that we should be giving to them, I think we are almost there now. And you agree with me that the noise about subvention not coming through has actually gone down, because the data is clear to them, is clear to us, and what we're releasing now, we know is enough to cover for those expenses that are critical and that are needed for that school. Government is not Father Christmas. You can't keep giving money and then people will not account for it. And the resources are very limited, so we have to be prudent in how we deploy, the resources. And I'm happy that we are all good now. The government and the teachers, now they know that that money is not part of their emolument. It is money to be utilized, to buy school supplies, chalks, also conduct exams, and keep the environment tidy. Carry out minor repairs, around the school premises, and we're getting there right now. And the accountability aspect of it has also been improved on considerably.
Governor Seyi Makinde, GSM 2.0.
I promised Omituntun.
Oh yes, prompt payment of salaries and pensions, free exercise books for all